Hello, everybody, and welcome to the I Am Him podcast. I am your host, Jamal Jordan. We are here today to talk about the things that we silently scream about on the inside. I have my guest today.
What's going on, y'all? This is Ronnie Howard on the I Am Him podcast. Here to talk about all the things that have us raging on the inside.
We were talking earlier today, or a few minutes ago, about how, life is lifing,
Yes.
and stress is hitting everybody. And like I said, we got out of church, and it was this on topic about the same message about how, we don't want to accept the responsibilities that have been given us to accept, or that we really don't always choose the responsibilities we have, and how it puts stress on us. So I wanted you to share some of the things that you experienced and what's your silent rage, if you would like to share it with us.
Of course. Well, I would always like to take it back to the why and to the where. Why is it this way right now? I mean, a lot of people are going through, especially people our color with melanin, but it goes way back. So I always think about, I'm 41, and I have a 19-year-old, 17-year-old, and a 15-year-old. I've been having full custody of them for 7 years and been pretty much doing it on my own. So
Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it. But it's been, why is it like this? And this doesn't personalize it between me and the mom or nothing like that. We have to talk about us. So how did we get this way? Our parents are one generation removed from Jim Crow and segregation. So they didn't really know anything. Our parents, I think they were on some, we have to survive. Let's get jobs. Let's try to survive. Let's try to keep our heads above water. That's all they know. Our parents didn't teach us about credit. Most of us didn't know about credit at 18. When I was 18, I messed my credit up right away. Just not being ignorant. Never talking about it. Didn't know about financing. They didn't know how to educate us about financing because they were just
keep a pocketbook.
You know what I'm saying? So I think just going back to that, having to start. Let's say the race starts right here. This is where we have to start the race. We have to start the race way behind because of the things that happen historically. So dealing with that today, the after effects, going to work, trying to get a job. I was 18. I applied for a job at Frito-Lay, and I had cornrows in my head. But I was dressed nice, had my suit on and everything. I went in there, and right away they profiled me. They said, you're gonna have to take those cornrows out your head. You look like a thug. I'm 18. I'm like, what? Excuse me? I said, I ain't never been to jail. I don't gang bang. I'm not none of that. This cornrows is a cultural design. That doesn't mean you can't watch Menace to Society or one of these movies on TV and think that every black man with cornrows is somebody that's gang banging or trying to kill you.
Similar experience.
Gang banging represents a small percentage of our culture what people don't know. People always say black people need to stop killing each other. That's a very small percentage of our culture out here. Everyone, we got jobs, we don't gangbang. You know what I'm saying? It's a very small percentage of that.
It's evident as us sitting right here. We're not gang members. We're not drug dealers. We're everyday working men who want to take care of their family.
You know what I'm saying? And we get profiled like that. It's like, what do you do? Like, I can't even get a job because you're already profiling me off the rip. Like, I have a hairstyle, but a Caucasian man can walk in there with spikes sticking up everywhere and have hair all over the place, and it's okay.
Purple, green, and blue.
Purple, green, and blue. I can't help it if my hair coils. This is the way my hair is. I can't wake up and wear my hair the way it is because you say I got nappy hair. This is my hair, bro. Why is it called nappy hair?
Most of my silent frustrations derive from work as well. As you said, before I got into my medical program and got into the X-ray program, I had hair down my back. And actually, the first time I went in, I don't think I had my braids in. I think I just had a ponytail in. And the second time I went in, nice, clean shave, cut, fade, and everything. And they were like, oh, we were so great. And they were like, oh, we were gonna choose you last year. It's just, and actually the guy who they chose over me ended up dropping out of the program, only black guy in the program. And he wasn't he was black, but he wasn't American. He was like a foreigner black. Like I don't know which black.
There's a difference.
Well, they treated him and said that he probably would have the better work ethic, and because he's over. It turned out to be the total opposite. But I agree. Well, I've experienced that discrimination and profiling, as well as with hair being something that they don't tolerate.
Yes.
Had I not cut my hair, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. Or I wouldn't say it. I'm not going to say that. It would have taken me a lot longer.
Yes.
Because I was standing on my principles versus I got to feed my kids.
Right. At the end of the day.
I was 32.
Yeah.
And ready to get in, and I have 2 kids already here. Wife was ready to stop working.
Right.
So it was do what I had to do, get my grades, get out. When I got out, I can grow my hair as long as I want to.
Right.
But God had other plans. He made sure I had a nice big old bald spot in the center of my head. So I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
Gave up that dream. The Lexus Locks.
Right. Exactly.
I understand the silent rage and frustration of, hey, somebody's judging you for your outer appearance, and because of which they don't even give you the chance or the opportunity to make good for your family.
Right.
And then you got to put on a facade and be somebody who you're not,
right,
just so that you can get accepted.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So in my situation, it pretty much made me look at things differently. I lost my mother when I was 15. Mm-hmm. So I haven't had my mom since I was 15. Yeah. So having 2 girls, my oldest 2 children are girls, and at the age when me and my kid's mother split, my oldest daughter was 11, and she hasn't even started her period yet. So these are some of the things that I had to realize that this is what women do all the time. It makes me want to hold other men accountable who are not taking care of their children, because now I know what it's like to have to be mom and dad.
When you, in your circle, how many of your dudes didn't want to be fathers?
I don't have a huge circle of dudes. When I lost my mom at 15, I pretty much isolated myself. So I have a few friends from back in the day, but they all pretty much had kids. We never discussed it as kids about wanting to be fathers. One of my friends became a father at 15.
Okay.
Another one of my friends, he has a lot of kids as well, but it as a man, like, now that you see what it is, like, I think a lot of men that are not in this situation, they don't understand. I hear a lot of men complaining about paying child support. And it's like, my brother, do you not realize that because the kids stay with the woman, you're still responsible for their housing, them getting back and forth to school, everything that the mom, just because they stay with her don't mean you any less financially responsible. So that's what the child support is for.
I get it.
Now
we know what the problem is.
The problem is the system is messed up to where it's flawed to where the amount and all that's another topic.
I don't even think that's 90% of it. I think it's men don't want the money to go towards the woman. Right. And you got to realize that, like you said, if she's taking your kids coming to school with busted shoes and everything, and you see she in Prada and Gucci, and you paying your child support, you got action.
Right. So that's the thing. That's the thing. You don't, as a man, for me, you don't let that slide. Like, something else, as far as like, if it's that bad, I think there has to be like some custody thing. Like, you have to like go try to like get custody. If it's like that, you can't just let it sit like that, because at the end of the day, she's gonna have to answer to those kids. Those kids are gonna grow up. We know those kids grow up. They know this stuff and they start talking. They start pointing stuff out. So now they're gonna hold her accountable, but you don't wanna be the man that just stopped paying, because not only with the child support thing, but it's like, it takes 2 to make a baby. So it takes a sperm and an egg. That means 50% of this baby is you and 50% of this baby is me. Those numbers don't die when it's time to be responsible. Exactly. So it takes 2 people respond financially. Now, you got to realize what the single mother is dealing with now that I've dealt with it. Not only are you responsible for housing, clothing, feeding, and the back and forth from school, the homework, not only are you responsible for that, you're responsible for the emotional. So my children not seeing their mom, their emotions are all messed up and they're teenagers. So I have to channel puberty, deal with them being hurt because they can't see their mama. I have to deal with all those emotions, especially with girls. So
I didn't actually think about that.
The emotional stress that you have to deal with, let's say there's an absent father. When you're an absent father out there and you leaving the mom and these kids is crying about their dad and they going through their emotions, they take it out on you because you right there. So I have to defend, I have to make sure I don't jump in defense mode against my daughters when they taking their frustrations out on me. It's not personal, it's not about me, it's about them. So these are a lot of things that these men don't understand, what these single mothers deal with. I'm experiencing now. You have to be mom and dad. You got to be there emotionally. You got to be there mentally. You got to be there physically. When kids get sick, you know how many times I've been to the ER in the last 2 years? I've been to the ER about 15 times. And I still got to go to work the next day. I still got to do homework. I still got to feed kids. So there's a lot that goes into the practice. You got to go you don't want kids to not be able to fulfill their dreams. So my son plays sports. My daughter dances. I got to show my other daughter attention in other ways. You have to really spread yourself to 3 different personalities. I have 3. So it made me feel empathy for all the single mothers I've been holding it down, because this is not easy. This is hard when you have to do both. Now, in the normal world, you have to make a decision. You can either be a great provider and have latchkey kids. You can work 80 hours a week, provide the finances, but your kids are raising themselves.
Yeah.
Or you cannot make as much money and be there, have some struggle times, but you're there emotionally, physically. So from my journey myself, everyone always compliments me about my children. Everyone. They're 19, 17, and 15. Everyone compliments me how good they are, how well-mannered they are. Both of my daughters work. You know, my other daughter's in college. Like, my son, he handles his business, and people compliment me how the way, and I'm like, I was able to be around. I was able to struggle a little bit and be around. And we're already at a disadvantage being black men in this world, in the workforce, as we talked about earlier.
And a lot of what you were saying was what I hear from struggling parents or single parents, period. Mm-hmm. You sound like my mom when she was taking care of me and my brother, trying to get us into everything. Fortunately, my wife and I we didn't have that. We've always been able to work opposite shifts. And the struggles of life that hit us, we're just able to work through it. Not everybody else is able to do that, but God bless us for us to make it through. We were pretty much done with both our kids. We were out ready to go, and then we got blessed with 3 nieces and nephews that needed our help.
Wow.
All under the age of 9.
Wow.
I got 2 girls that I've never had. I've never had girls. And I'm like the biggest protector of females in my family. Like, all of my cousins, my female cousins would tell you, don't bring your boyfriend around Jamal, because he gonna check him. He gonna try to be the big cousin, do the big thing. Like, yeah, I'm the crazy uncle that went to 15 wars, Vietnam, and I got a pin, and like, these kids don't even know what Vietnam is, but they don't know. As long as they know I'm crazy, But now that I got girls, like, that silent rage of like, what am I gonna do? Because I like I said, I commend you, because my youngest, the 5-year-old, she comes home almost every other day like, guess what, Uncle? This boy was talking to me. Oh. And she knows it triggers me. She knows this, and now I know that she's doing that to try to get a rise out of me. But I already know, like, the way that I know what I did when I was growing up. I wasn't bad, but I also know that I wasn't good.
Right, it's like the boy. It's your boy.
If I did if anybody do what I did to any of my girls, I would be upset.
It's over.
Yeah, that silent rage now of being a dad that has girls and having to protect them and not being around, or not being around, not being there all the time.
Right.
I mean, I was the same way with my sons too. I kind of was wondering why when my oldest, when he was younger, the parents let my son come over and hang out. I was like, okay, where's her dad?
Right. Where's dad? Where's dad at?
Why are we going?
Come
why we
on.
hanging out at 10
At the
o'clock at
house.
night at your house and like, yeah,
Come on.
I'm cool. Like, and I sat outside, like literally sat outside on my son's date at 6 or how old was it? 16?
Yes, sir.
And so I was always the guy that I thought I was gonna be like, hey, son, did you knock it out the box? Did you?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like how was it, son? But now I see it's just as bad for my sons being out there, being promiscuous,
Yes.
laying with other people,
Yes.
not being married, having soul ties, and like literally just had something with my oldest son not too long ago where my wife had to pray him out of soul ties, and we think it's cool as men, or I used to think it was cool as a man to think my son was out there doing, and it's not. I have the same like trepidation that I do with my daughters now, that with my sons. I just can't see my son getting used and having his nose wide open. Like for real, bro. When I was coming up, I thought dating a school teacher, man, it was the ultimate. Like you top notch. You the man if you could start dating one of your teachers. Now, bro, I wish
the teacher would.
I wish.
Come on.
I wish you would mess with my boy.
Right.
Like and my boy, he's so innocent. Yeah. He's one of them that, you know, he loves hard, and if you can play him because he loves hard.
Right.
You
hit the right buttons, you got him.
Yeah. He wants to love you, and that's the other thing. Like when we were growing up, we used to call it a sucker. Like you do a sucker shit, like bro.
Man.
And now I'm not talking about being a simp for your woman, but like being willing to love and open yourself up to love people fully without hidden motive or without thinking they have a hidden motive.
Right.
It took a long time for me to I always love, but not knowing that to open up.
Yeah.
Me, I love you, but I ain't gonna tell you my deepest, darkest secrets.
Right.
It took a long time for you, my wife, to know my deepest, darkest, like, like the ones that you ain't told nobody else, bro. Like, not even like my brother who's been with me for 17, I mean, since I was 2 or 1, but she know more than my brother know.
Yeah.
And my brother was with me for since I was born, actually, almost. And it took a while for me to get to that point with my wife, so.
Right. Yeah.
But, yeah, it's having kids and these silent frustrations. We'll get into them a little bit more with another group of men coming up.